Power in relationships always starts with self-sufficiency. A man who knows who he is, what he stands for, and where he's going in life holds a level of strength that no one can take away. When you build your happiness around your mission, your goals, and your self-respect, you stop needing external validation to feel whole. This is where the real balance of power comes from. Because when you don't depend on her to fill an emotional void, she feels it. She senses that you're steady, grounded, and already complete. That's the kind of energy women are naturally drawn to because it makes them feel safe, admired, and inspired. A lot of men make the mistake of putting a woman at the center of their world, thinking it will make her love them more. But the opposite happens. When you orbit around her, she feels the weight of being your only source of fulfillment, and it kills the attraction. On the other hand, when you're focused on your own life, your growth, your ambitions, your passions, she gets to be a part of your journey, not the entirety of it. That's a much more powerful and attractive position because it communicates that you choose her, not that you need her. Choice is always more powerful than dependence. And here's the truth. Women admire men who can stand on their own 2 feet, men who don't crumble without constant reassurance. When she realizes you're not clinging to her for happiness, she respects you more. It tells her you're strong enough to be fine with or without her. That sense of independence is not cold, it's inspiring. It allows her to see you as a man she can lean on, not one she has to carry. That's what creates the polarity that keeps the relationship alive. Self-sufficiency also makes your attention more valuable. If you're always available, always giving without boundaries, your energy loses its weight. But when you're selective, when you prioritize your own mission and only share your time with her because you truly want to, not because you can't be alone, it changes the entire dynamic. Suddenly, your presence is something she treasures. She knows you're not with her because you need to be. You're with her because you want to be. And that subtle difference gives you the upper hand because your happiness isn't tied to her actions. This is why power in relationships isn't about control. It's about freedom. The freedom to walk away if the respect isn't there. The freedom to continue thriving with or without her. That kind of strength is rare. And when a woman feels it, she naturally invests more because she knows she can't manipulate or control a man who doesn't need her to survive emotionally. And that's why the foundation of true relationship power begins with self-sufficiency. It shifts the dynamic so she needs you more than you need her. Confidence is one of the most magnetic qualities you can bring into any relationship. And it's not about arrogance, bravado, or trying to impress. It's about quiet certainty. When you carry yourself with a calm belief in your own worth, you send a message without saying a word. You know who you are, and you're not looking for permission to be yourself. That kind of confidence is rare, and women are instinctively drawn to it because it communicates strength, stability, and leadership. It tells her she can trust you because if you trust yourself, others will naturally trust you too. The mistake many men make is trying too hard to prove themselves, overcompensating with flash, attention-seeking behavior, or constantly fishing for reassurance. But true confidence doesn't need validation. It's expressed in the way you walk, the way you look someone in the eye, and the way you stand firm in your decisions. It's not about being the loudest person in the room. Often, it's about being the calmest. When you're unshaken by circumstances, unbothered by competition, and unwilling to chase approval, she notices. She sees that you're different from the men who scramble for her attention, and that difference makes you unagainable. Confidence also shows up in how you handle rejection or setbacks. Instead of crumbling or feeling like your worth is tied to her acceptance, you move forward with grace. You understand that one person's opinion doesn't define your value. This resilience demonstrates emotional strength, and emotional strength is one of the most attractive traits you can have. A man who doesn't need to be chosen to know his worth automatically becomes more attractive to choose. Paradox, but it's true. When you're not desperate for validation, people want to give it to you. Another layer of confidence is the ability to express yourself authentically. You're not afraid to say what you think, share your vision, or set boundaries when needed. Women respect men who have a backbone because it signals leadership and integrity. When you stand up for yourself without aggression, when you're firm but kind, It tells her you're not easily swayed or manipulated. That's the kind of man she feels secure with because she knows he won't lose himself just to please her. Confidence also enhances how you show up physically and emotionally. Your body language, your tone, your presence, it all communicates what you believe about yourself. A man who slouches, avoids eye contact, or speaks timidly sends the message that he doubts himself. But a man who speaks clearly, listens attentively, and moves with purpose shows he's grounded. Women feel that energy immediately. It draws them in before you've even said much. Ultimately, confidence is not about being perfect. It's about being secure in your imperfections and still knowing your value. It's about carrying yourself as if you belong wherever you go and not needing anyone else to confirm it. And when you live that truth, it naturally shifts the power dynamic in your favor because she feels that you are a man who cannot be easily replaced. That is why confidence is a cornerstone of real power in relationships. Independence is one of the strongest signals of true power in a relationship because it shows that you are a complete person on your own. Too many men fall into the trap of believing they need to make a woman the center of their universe. And while the intention might come from love, what it really communicates is neediness. When you make her your entire source of happiness, you put her in a position of control, and she feels the weight of that responsibility. On the other hand, when you live a full, purpose-driven life, when you have passions, goals, and friendships outside of her, she sees you as a man who chooses her, not one who depends on her to breathe. Independence doesn't mean you distance yourself emotionally or avoid commitment. It means that your identity isn't tied to her opinion of you. You have your own mission, your own vision, and your own self-worth that stand whether she's there or not. That energy is incredibly attractive because it removes pressure from the relationship. She doesn't feel like she has to constantly reassure you or carry your emotional weight. Instead, she gets to relax and admire you for the man you are. And ironically, it's when you stop making her your world that she naturally wants to be a bigger part of it. Think about it. When someone has no hobbies, no drive, no life outside of you, it quickly becomes suffocating. But when someone is passionate, focused, and invested in their own growth, they inspire you and pull you closer without even trying. Women feel the same way. A man who's busy building something for himself, whether it's his career, his fitness, his dreams, or even just a sense of adventure, is magnetic. He radiates purpose, and purpose is what gives a man his edge. Independence also protects you from the emotional roller coaster that can happen when you make her your anchor. If she pulls back, tests you, or becomes distant, you don't crumble because your life doesn't collapse without her. You may feel disappointment, sure, but you remain strong because you're still rooted in your own direction. That stability is what makes her respect you because she sees that you won't lose yourself even if you love her deeply. This is where the power dynamic becomes clear. When she realizes that you are capable of being happy, fulfilled, and successful with or without her, it heightens her attraction. She feels the pull of your independence because it sets you apart from the men who cling, chase, and beg for her attention. Independence says, I want you, but I don't need you. My life is already rich, and if you join it, it becomes even better. That statement alone is far more powerful than any words you could say. In the end, independence is not about detachment, it's about strength. It's about showing her that your happiness comes from within and that your path continues no matter what. And that is what makes her see you as a man she doesn't want to lose. One of the most overlooked truths in relationships is that respect is the foundation of attraction. And the moment you lose a respect, everything else begins to crumble. Many men believe that love alone will hold things together, but love without respect is fragile. A woman can still care about you and even feel affection for you, but if she doesn't respect you, she won't see you as the man she truly wants to give herself to. Respect comes from how you carry yourself, how you handle challenges, and how consistent you are in showing strength and integrity. When you demonstrate that you live by principles instead of desperation, she feels secure in your presence because she knows you won't bend just to please her. Respect is earned by the way you respond to situations where most men would cave. For example, when she tests you, pushes your boundaries, or tries to see how much you will tolerate, She's not doing it out of cruelty, it's instinctual. She wants to know if you're strong enough to stand firm because deep down she craves a man she can rely on. If you compromise your values just to keep her happy, she may smile in the moment, but underneath, her respect for you declines. On the other hand, when you calmly enforce your boundaries, when you're willing to walk away rather than accept disrespect, she feels that strength, and that actually makes her respect you more. Too many men confuse being respectful to her with seeking her approval. Respecting her is important, yes, but respect must flow both ways. If you respect her while allowing her to walk over you, the relationship becomes unbalanced. She sees you as someone she can control rather than someone she can admire. Real respect in a relationship is mutual. It's her respecting your time, your effort, and your values just as much as you respect her emotions, needs, and individuality. When that balance exists, attraction grows naturally because she feels that she's with a man who can't be easily shaken. Respect also ties into how you handle yourself when emotions run high. Anyone can keep their composure when things are going smoothly, but real respect is built in moments of conflict. If you can stay grounded, avoid blowing up, and communicate like a leader instead of reacting like a child, she'll see that you are in control of yourself, and that alone will set you apart. Women secretly admire men who can maintain calm in chaos because it shows emotional strength. That strength creates trust, and trust is the bedrock of respect. Ultimately, respect isn't something you demand, it's something you command by the way you live. When you consistently show that you value yourself, your time, and your mission, she naturally values you too. Without respect, attraction fades. But with respect, everything else becomes easier because she will want to follow your lead. And that is why respect is not optional. It is the key that keeps both love and attraction alive. Power in a relationship isn't about control, manipulation, or playing games. It's about who has options and who operates from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. When a man knows his worth and doesn't tie his entire identity to one woman, he naturally holds more power in the dynamic. This doesn't mean he loves her less. It simply means he doesn't approach the relationship with fear of losing her. Women can sense when a man is desperate, when his entire sense of happiness depends on her validation, and that kind of energy kills attraction. On the other hand, when a man carries himself with the mindset that he could walk away if necessary and still be fine, she feels the weight of his confidence and it shifts the balance of power. A man who lives with purpose, who invests in his own growth, and who nurtures his ambitions creates a sense of independence that women find magnetic. She may be important to him, but she is not the only thing in his life, and that independence keeps the mystery alive. Think about it. When you're too available, when you drop everything just for her, you unintentionally communicate that she is your entire world. At first, she may appreciate the attention, but over time, it suffocates her and makes her feel less admiration for you. Power in a relationship comes from balance, being present with her, loving her, but also maintaining your individuality and refusing to abandon your own mission. Another layer of this truth is that women don't want to carry the burden of leading a relationship. Even if she has a strong personality, even if she's independent, deep down she craves a man who can guide with strength and certainty. When you give up that leadership role, when you let her dictate the terms of everything, you're putting her in a position that will ultimately frustrate her. The power of leadership isn't about being controlling. It's about creating structure, direction, and consistency. Women respect men who stand firm in their vision, and when you stay aligned with your path, she feels safe trusting you. Power also comes from emotional control. If she can push your buttons easily, if every word she says can throw you off balance, she will see you as weak. But if you can remain grounded, not cold or distant, but calm and steady, you demonstrate a level of self-mastery that commands respect. That emotional steadiness is powerful because it shows her that no matter what storms come, you can handle them. It's not about ignoring her feelings, but about guiding the relationship through strength rather than reacting with weakness. So the truth about power in a relationship isn't about who loves more. It's about who maintains self-respect, independence, and purpose while still being capable of loving deeply. The man who does this never has to chase power because it naturally rests in his hands. And that is why true power lies in knowing you don't need her, even though you choose to be with her. The real strength in any relationship comes down to choice. When a man lives with abundance of purpose, opportunities, growth, and even potential relationships, he never feels trapped. He never feels like he has to cling to one woman out of fear that she's the only one he'll ever have. That mindset of scarcity is what destroys so many men because they believe they need her more than she needs them. But when you flip that, when you carry yourself as someone who chooses rather than needs, it changes everything. Women are drawn to men who have options because options equal freedom and freedom equals strength. A man who could walk away at any moment but still stays out of genuine desire communicates more power than a man who stays out of fear. When you embody choice, you are no longer operating from desperation. You don't overcompensate. You don't bend over backwards just to keep her interested. And you don't tolerate disrespect. Instead, you live by your own values and only allow people in your life, romantically or otherwise, who align with them. That makes your presence rare, and scarcity always breeds value. She knows deep down that you don't need her, that you're with her because you want to be, and that difference makes her respect you on a deeper level. Women don't want to be needed to the point where they become a crutch. They want to feel chosen by a man who could have anyone but still picks them. Choice also gives you leverage. If she tests you, if she withdraws affection, if she tries to play games, you won't chase or panic because you understand that you are not tied down by her actions. That composure alone often makes her come back stronger because she realizes that your attention is not something to be taken for granted. On the other hand, a man who lacks choice will cave into her every demand, tolerate mistreatment, and slowly lose her respect. Power is never in chasing, it's in calmly standing your ground and letting her feel the weight of your standards. A man who knows he has choices isn't reckless or arrogant. He's simply free. Free to invest in himself, free to pursue his mission, free to be with someone who truly appreciates him, and free to walk away when respect is gone. That freedom is what gives him an undeniable aura of confidence because he's never acting out of fear of loss. And paradoxically, it's that very freedom that makes her hold on to him even tighter. Because deep down, she knows he doesn't stay out of necessity. He stays because he genuinely wants her. And that's the ultimate truth. Real power in a relationship doesn't come from control, but from the strength to walk away and the freedom to choose who gets to stay.